I gotta let you know that I'm wearing my Pedro Tonin t-shirt.
I should have put mine on.
I also have my Pedro blankie that my friend Michelle gave me for my birthday.
You're like, I'm ready for this episode, okay?
So ready. You did not
like we already delayed it once.
Yeah, and so like when we were gonna record the first time, my brain was already like 100% Pedro 100% of the time. But now that we had to postpone, it's like gotten even worse.
Yeah, like, well, because we had another award show too, so
I know, and new pictures and new things. I'm like, oh my god, I'm vibrating so hard.
Let's do it.
So, hey everybody, welcome back to Two Nerds and a Podcast. Today we are talking about one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is one Mr. Jose Pedro Pascal.
Round of applause. We love Pedro.
We love Pedro. If you don't love Pedro on some level, get out. Don't listen to this podcast anymore. Go away.
Honestly, and quit lying because
I
don't know how you can't love him.
Oh my gosh, he's just a sweet baby angel. How could you not love him? He's so, like, okay, here's the thing. I don't know him personally, but he's so nice. Like, he's like, every interview he is in, he's just a sweet baby angel, and I just want to squeeze him.
And he's a meme queen. He's
oh my gosh.
The master at the accidental memes.
Daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Yes, and he's just, I love it because he's, like, I always forget he's very much like a boomer, like, because he's older.
Because he's old.
But...
And so I feel stupid. I'm live on Instagram.
TikTok.
On TikTok.
But, like, some of the things he says, I'm just like, I think you're a little bit millennial, and then sometimes I'm like, oh, you're a little bit Gen Z. Like, he's got a lot happening at all
He's
times.
all over the place, yeah.
He's everywhere, and I love him. But I thought we could talk about, because I think everybody knows how I became obsessed, which we'll go over in a bit, but I also want to talk about how Casey became obsessed, because I think it's hilarious, and I laugh. So I've been obsessed since Game of Thrones. Now, I will say when I watched through Game of Thrones in college, because of Oberyn Martell, who's a very confident, sexy character, I'm just like, oh, Pedro must be somewhat like that in real life. Like, I hadn't seen any interviews with him or anything like that. And then he was in Kingsman, and I saw all of those interviews, and I realized that he's just a goofy goober all of the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's, like, just so, like, he's so unserious all the time.
All the time.
I'm just going to sit here and say I love you and say hi and slay and yas.
With everybody.
Just in the best way.
Yes.
Like his was it the last award show? When he was like...
When he said like, Kieran Culkin kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, he was like, he beat the shit out of me. And like, he's just so unserious and just so funny.
Yes, all of the time.
And like, he just seems like he has the best personality.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so amazing to hang out with him. I bet he's like the coolest person to just be like, hey, let's go do something. And he'll be like, okay. And it's going to be a good time no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I started seeing like interviews of him, I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm done. Like, this is it. This is my man. I'm going to stick beside him and everything that encompasses him. So I became very obsessed. And when I become obsessed with an actor or a show or anything like that, I tend to post a lot on social media about it.
Yes.
I share videos,
that is very
I share
true.
memes, I share
Very
pictures, and I do apologize when I haven't posted in like 24 hours about said thing that I'm obsessed with. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I know all my friends missed this. So here's a picture. Or here's a new video. And all my friends are like, fabulous. And so when the Pedro Renaissance started coming back up, and with the rise of TikTok, Casey and I Casey and I have like 3 conversations going at all times. We send TikToks to each other, we send stuff on Instagram to each other, and then we rarely send actual text messages to each other.
Yeah,
So
we talk through memes.
yes, we are the meme queens. We're hilarious. And so with TikTok, like we both kind of started delving into TikTok, and every once in a while Casey would get like a random Pedro video and she's like, "Oh, Jamie will like this. Let me send that to her." And I would. Even if I had already seen it, I don't care. Send it to me because I will enjoy it immensely. Like, it was great because at one point I literally had 5 different people. It was like you and like one friend from college that I talk to on a somewhat regular basis, and then 3 people that I don't talk to on a regular basis. We're just social media friends at this point. All send me the same video of Pedro Pascal. And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that my legacy is being obsessed with Pedro Pascal. And so Casey just kind of started sending, like, anytime something showed up on her For You page, she's like, "Here you go." And I'm like, "Thanks." And then her entire For You page
It
became
was like
Pedro.
taken over, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll watch stuff he's in. I had already seen Game of Thrones. Um but I didn't even like realize that it was him at the time. I was like, wow,
Because
I've been
completely
so
different
blind this whole
personality.
time. And he
But
just
like
because it was so long ago,
yeah.
like he definitely looks different because he's,
Oh
he's like
yeah.
a silver fox now. He's got the grays coming in.
And he's got his nice cute curly hair now. It's not like, so he used to
Yeah.
keep it really short, but now it's all nice and curly and cute.
Well, I don't even remember I don't remember what I watched like after it started coming onto my For You page. Cuz I don't know if I
Ooh.
watched that was when like The Last of Us came out.
I think your obsession started before that. I feel like, did you watch The Mandalorian before The Last of Us?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't it's got to be oh gosh. I feel like
I'm trying to think because I know
maybe I did watch The Mandalorian before. Yeah, I had to have because I watched The Mandalorian like a long time ago, like when it came out.
Yeah, and then I think because season 3 came out before
Yeah, it had
Last
just
of
came
Us,
out.
so you were
And then The
like,
Last of
gosh
Us came out, and
dang.
I was like, yes, I love
Yeah, and
this so
even
much.
just seeing all of the like promo stuff for it, like you and I were both hyped that he was going to be
Oh my
Joel in
gosh.
The Last of Us.
And it just works so perfectly.
Oh my gosh, so good. But Casey and I are both really big fans of The Last of Us, the game. So we were both hyped for a show. And then I was super hyped because Pedro was in it. And then Casey was like, "Well, I guess I have to like him now too because he's really good." I'm like, yes. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He's excellent.
And oh my god, can we just talk about that show for a second? Oh my, we should do a
Oh
last.
my.
Wait, we should save that. We should do a Last of Us episode.
Yes. I think we should
Like
do
this show.
the
Oh.
show, and we should do a video game chat because we've both played through both of the
Oh, yeah.
games.
Yeah, we
And
should definitely do that.
since season 2 has started filming, we can kind of talk
I'm so
about our
excited.
predictions for season 2. We're getting a lot of the casting releases for
Yeah.
season 2, so definitely subscribe to our
Yeah, we'll dedicate
podcast,
a
follow
whole
us on all the
episode to
social
that.
media because we will be talking about that in the future.
But yeah, it was like literally like it was like The Mandalorian and then The Last of Us like came out like back to back almost because like season 3
Yes.
came out and then like The Last of Us like boom came out.
Yeah, because
And I was
Mandalorian was
all
like
right.
the fall, and then The Last of Us was in the winter, so they're literally right
Yeah,
there.
it was like back to back, and it was amazing. We just got so much of it,
Absolutely
and then I watched you know that movie. I can't think of the name.
Is it the
The
one
one
with
with
Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage?
Yeah.
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes.
I literally saw that movie in theaters like 3 times. I was so hyped. So, a little backstory on that in particular. I am a big Pedro Pascal fan, obviously. And my best friend's
You are?
boyfriend.
Are we
yeah,
sure?
I know. I'm so glad
we
that
sure?
you found out
If you're
via the podcast.
Also, if you're this far into this episode and you don't know that,
Yeah.
maybe rewind it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah. But my best friend's boyfriend at the time is now her husband, but he's a big Nick Cage fan. So the second that the two of us found out that they were both going to be in a movie together, my best friend Natalie was like, "Oh no, you guys are going to go crazy, aren't you?" And we were like, "Abs freaking
We're like,
lootly." So good. And then because I live in Southern California, not too far outside of LA, I had a friend who like got me like she did this thing where you get to like preview movies for free. And then normally you take a little survey afterwards and they ask your opinion on stuff. Well, one of these had come up and it was for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It was on a freaking Tuesday afternoon down in freaking Culver City. And I'm like, am I going to drive all the way to Culver City to go see this movie? The answer was yes.
Absolutely.
And I was like, well, I kind of don't want to go by myself because that's a long way to drive by yourself for a movie to go and watch by yourself. So I managed to drag my friend Christine with me. She was like, yeah, I'm off today. And I'm like, awesome. I'm going to come and get you and we're going to go.
You're like, good thing you didn't have any plans today. You're coming with me.
Yeah. So we went and saw it then. And then when it actually, that was, I think, 2 weeks before it released. And so when it actually released, and my mom and I were going to go see a movie, and she was like, well, do you want to see the Pedro movie again? And I was like, Mom, what kind of question
You're like,
is
why
that?
did you even... Yeah, why did you ask me that? I
Yeah,
think you know
I
the
was
answer.
like, and she was like, okay, I just wanted to make sure. And I'm like, you will never have to ask me if I want to see anything with Pedro Pascal in it more than once, okay? Because I will see it more than once. And then I can't remember, I think the third time I used to have a movie pass for the theaters down in Santa Clarita. And if you go twice a month, it makes it worth the money. So I was like, I'll go see it again. So I went by myself and saw it again. It was such a good movie.
And then you told me to watch it, and I
I
was like
did.
watching it, and I was like, this movie is so amazing. If you haven't seen that movie, first off,
Go
just
watch
stop
it.
listening right now, pause the podcast,
Yeah.
go watch it, come back, and then listen to the rest of it.
It's such a good movie. I like that because this was like after COVID, so movies were kind of in a slump, and we hadn't really seen
Oh gosh, that
anything.
reminds me of that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to like totally cut you off,
No,
but
you go right
that
ahead.
just literally reminds me of the bubble that he was in, and that movie
Oh,
was.
we need to talk about that next. But back to
Yes,
The
I'm
Unbearable
sorry,
Weight of
I
Massive
just had to
Talent.
bring that up.
Yeah. But we hadn't really seen anything original. We were still getting a lot of Marvel movies. We are getting a lot of franchises coming out with stuff. And so it was really exciting to see something hit the big screen, have a big marketing budget, and I mean, if you don't like Nick Cage, then how dare you? Because I didn't
Get out.
understand you. Yeah. If you don't like Pedro Pascal, Nick Cage, or any other celebrity we're obsessed with, get out.
Yeah.
You don't need to be here. But and it was such a weird concept because it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage. So you're like,
Yeah.
ooh, I don't know. I don't know
You're
how
like,
that's
what?
gonna go. But honestly, if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be freaking Nick Cage. Like he's gonna pull this off and it's gonna be great. Um and it was. And also, sometimes when because I was like, there's bound to be drugs in this movie. I just know it. It's just how these things go. But I like that that wasn't the focus because I feel like a lot of buddy cop movies, if there's drugs included, they're like, oh, it's all about the drug trip now, and it's not.
Yeah.
But also, Pedro's character, Javi, is the most sweetest cinnamon roll in existence. He's so cute, and I just want to squeeze him because he's innocent, but he's not. And I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but,
Also, the meme that came out of that movie,
oh, yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic.
In every form. I love somebody
Yeah.
animated a Lego version of the meme. It is literally the greatest thing ever. Also, I saw somebody got like two best friends got like tattoos, and one had Pedro
Oh
and one
my
had Nick
God.
Cage. I literally
That is
sent it to
amazing.
Natalie, and I was like, this is gonna be mine and your husband Chris's like friendship tattoo. Is he's gonna have Nick Cage and I'm gonna have Pedro Pascal. She's like, I wouldn't be surprised if you two actually did that. But yes, so now we can talk about probably my least favorite movie that Pedro has ever done, called The
But
Bubble,
honest, but literally the best part of that movie, the only good
is
part of that
Pedro.
movie was him. Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is like the stupidest movie. It's literally about the pandemic,
Yeah.
and they're
And
like
about actors in the
filming.
pandemic.
Yeah, and it's so they had to like quarantine, and it's so terrible. But
It's so
Pedro
bad.
is the best part of that movie. I think, is it still on? It's like a Netflix
It's
movie,
a
isn't it?
Netflix original. Yeah.
Okay, so it should definitely still be on there. If you have literally nothing to do and you're so bored, you should watch that movie because, like, Pedro is the best part of it, and it's just so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous. And like it's got the most like almost one of the most all-star cast. It's got Karen Gillian and like a whole bunch of other like decently famous people in it. And I'm just like, how, why? Like, listen, I was there for the whole ad social media ad campaign, and I'm looking at, and I didn't actually know what it was about. Like I didn't, the advertising was a bit weird, and I'm like, okay, but Pedro's in it, so I'm gonna watch it. And then the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like, how did Pedro read the script for this movie and then went, yeah, I'm gonna do it? Like,
I'm in. I'm in.
yeah, he's just like done, and I'm like, why? It's so weird and not in a good way. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
so
so
strange.
dumb.
It's like such a weird movie. Yeah, it's real dumb. I'm
Yeah.
like, this movie is awful.
It truly is. Like I would rather watch pretty much any other like a Seth Rogen movie normally is my baseline for like stupid, right? I'd really rather watch almost any other Seth Rogen movie than The Frickin' Bubble. It's so
So if you
bad.
haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's on
Watch it and
Netflix.
please join us in agreeing that it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Yes,
And like there
absolutely.
was no like there's no good like anything about it. There's no good beat. It's not like a cool beginning or like a really like good ending and it's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. So, watch it.
But yeah, I think that's my my least favorite Pedro movie. Um I do like that. I'm trying to think. It was before the bubble. So maybe like 2 Christmases ago. I was very excited. So yeah, because it was, I think we were still in pandemic times because Wonder Woman, is it 1984? Which is the second Wonder Woman movie, came out and Pedro is in there. And honestly, I didn't expect him to be in there. I watched the Wonder Woman movies because Chris Pine is in there, and I love Chris Pine. But Pedro was in the second one. He is blonde in that movie, which I hope nobody ever makes Pedro that color blonde ever again. It's not a good look for him. But we got that movie on Christmas Day, and because I have access to my friend's HBO Max, I got to watch it on Christmas Day. And then literally the next day, another Netflix original movie came out called We Can Be Heroes, which is oddly enough a continuation of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't know
Oh,
who
that's
I don't know
interesting.
who decided we needed a sequel,
Uh,
but whoever it was knew exactly what they were doing because in We Can Be Heroes, Pedro's character, he's a superhero. Are we surprised? Absolutely not. But he's dressed in all black, really tight t-shirt. He uses 2 katanas as his weapons. He's got magnets for hands. The fan fiction that came out of this movie Chef's Kiss. I have never seen so many people go feral for an adult in a children's movie, but oh my gosh. Like, literally, the movies that I like the least of Pedro, like the actual movie itself, the fan fiction that comes out of these things is absolutely phenomenal. Like, the way people can just be like, oh, here's the new version. And I'm like, okay, that's the version that's going to be in my head from now on because there's no way I'm going to remember the original movie after reading that. But oh my gosh. So I had a very Pedro Christmas, and it was funny because I watched one and then immediately watched the other. And while I was watching We Can Be Heroes and Pedro showed up again, and my dad's like, is this another movie with the Mandalorian in it? And I went, mm-hmm. Yes. Did you expect
The
anything else?
Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Like,
that's probably how my
yes.
dad would remember him. Oh, the guy
Yeah.
from the Mandalorian. My dad always goes, he's not even in it. He doesn't even show his face. I'm like, you're so annoying.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Just go then. Go away. You're not welcome. I cannot wait for the Mandalorian. What is it? Is it a movie that they're coming out with?
Yes, it is a movie.
Oh, I can't
We get to
wait.
see him on the freaking big screen. So
Yeah.
excited.
Hopefully he'll take his helmet off.
Oh,
Because
maybe
that would
he'll take
be.
everything off. Ooh.
I was just gonna say that because it's award season right now,
Ugh.
we're getting lots of good memes and lots of good Pedro content right now
Mm-hmm. Yes,
with his
we are
little
back
broken
in.
arm,
I
broken
know.
shoulder.
He's such a weeb. It was funny because the second I saw that he had a sling on, I'm like, what? He's not filming anything right now. He went home to Chile for Christmas. What the heck? And then I love that we found out it's because he, like the rest of us, tripped and fell. And
Yeah.
that's why he's got his arm in a sling.
And we are listen, you and I, Jamie, are pros.
Oh, yeah.
Pros about tripping and falling and injuring
Absolutely.
ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're definitely we understand. We
Yeah,
understand.
we sympathize. We've been there, done that, Pedro, and we are 100% right there with you. He didn't break anything, which is pretty impressive because when Casey and I fall, most of the time we normally break something,
Yeah.
and it's just horrendous. But we are also we trip a lot just in general, so
We're
I
very
understand.
clumsy.
We
So
are.
yeah.
But yeah, it was funny because I posted. I'm trying to think. I can't remember which award show it was from, but my friend George had messaged me on Facebook and she's like, why does he have a sling on? Like, what happened to your boyfriend? And I was like, he fell. Like, the little dork he is.
I love that. Was it the last award show that he like matched his sling to his outfit?
The past couple outfits, so he has like he had one, like the squiggly top black outfit that he matched his sling to. He had the black sling on, but he also has like a tan
Yeah, like a
gray
cream
sling.
color.
Yeah, that he's matched to a couple of outfits too. And then he showed up to one award show in the purple like scrubs looking outfit, and he had no sling on. And I saw that and I went, "Sir, where is your sling? I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be walking around without that thing on." But also that purple outfit in particular, I saw a TikTok and it was this nurse and she also had purple scrubs on and she was like, can somebody tell Pedro he's late for work and he needs to come in? He can't be skipping it. I'm like, oh my God. I also love that he's been wearing his cute little glasses all the time.
Yeah, I'm so excited for The Last of Us season 2.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully, maybe, kind of.
I will be excited if we don't get the same scene of Abby beating the crap out of
Yeah.
him. Because I will need a very long mourning period if that happens. because
Yeah.
I will be very upset. I know it's fake, but I will be very upset because I was very upset watching Joel in the game get beat up. So,
Yeah, also, like, it's
ugh.
so early on, too, I feel like. It's within,
Yeah,
like it's too early on. Because
yeah.
then he just plays dumb Ellie the rest of the game.
And Abby, I think,
Yeah, God, I
wh-
know.
which with we'll have a deeper discussion in our Last of Us episode, but I feel like letting us play as Joel as per the first game, and then making us watch him get unalived by this chick we don't know, and then forcing us
Yeah.
to play as her is cruel. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted
Mhm.
me to, and then they were, a bunch of people are like, what do you mean you don't like Abby? She unalived one of my fictional husbands. I'm not gonna like her. Like, absolutely not. Tell her to get out. No.
Yeah.
And then you're forcing me to play as her, and like, no. And not just like fling myself off the cliff. No, I don't think so. Um, but I feel like they should have introduced Abby to us first and made us like go through her struggle and see her perspective, and then like towards either like the halfway point or even towards the end made her path cross with Joel's, and then unalive Joel, and then force us to
Yeah.
play as Ellie to hunt her down. Like, they did it backwards because I already don't like her. I've played like 2 seconds as her and I don't like her. And you make
Mhm.
me do it
Mhm.
throughout the game? No, absolutely not. How dare you? But also, I'm excited to see what they change in the show.
Yeah, I am excited too because they do change. Like in the first season, they changed not like a significant amount, but they did make some like pretty significant changes.
Yeah.
Like with Bill and Frank.
Oh, yeah, and that was such a good change and a needed one.
Mhm. Yeah.
Definitely added
I
to the
did want to
layers of the
see
story.
I did want to see is it Bill? I did want to
Yeah.
see him like yelling at Ellie, but it's fine. I'll take the
That
love story, I guess.
Yeah, the love story is fine, but like telling this punk ass kid to stop touching everything was then
Yeah.
hilarious.
I know. I was like, dude, and the fact that it's Ron Swanson,
Oh my
so great.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
good.
I wish
If
they
you
would have
can't tell,
just
we love The
done.
Last of Us
Oh my
a lot.
gosh, so good. I almost wish they would have done like a scene together and then just put it as like the bonus features kind of thing, just so we could
Yeah.
see them
Oh, I
like
know. It
interact.
would have been so good.
Cause like I love in the show when she's reading his letter and she gets to the part where he laughs, and I'm like, that's exactly how he would laugh.
Yeah.
Because she's just like, and I'm like, that's exactly how Ron Swanson laughs.
I know.
And I love that.
Ugh, I love
Uh,
The Last of Us. Honestly, I think it's time for a re-watch of that
oh,
because
absolutely.
man,
I've been
that
thinking
show is
about that
so
all
good.
day.
Like, if you haven't watched The Last of Us, you're
Where have you
lame.
been?
Yeah, where have you been? HBO, we're big advocates of HBO and Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Huge.
Especially when Pedro is involved. Or
Yes.
Jensen Ackles. Or Carl. Or basically anybody. When anybody is involved,
Yeah.
we like, don't get me wrong, there are shows that you go, but like lately, Amazon and HBO, at least the
Oh,
stuff
TV
that
has
we,
been like popping
oh
off lately.
yeah, so good,
Like
so
originals,
good.
like the Amazon originals, HBO Max, because like the fact that The Last of Us, like the fact one, it has an amazing cast. Besides Pedro, Bella
Hmm.
Ramsey, chef's kiss. She
Yeah,
is Ellie. She is Ellie. She
I
will
wasn't
be
sure
Ellie
at
forever.
first. I wasn't sure about her at first because the only thing I had ever seen her in is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
And
Hmm.
she was quite literally little baby in Game of
Yeah,
Thrones. Like,
she was
was
little.
she like super badass? Absolutely. But I was like, I mean, it's a pretty big leap to go from like a side character in a huge HBO
To like,
production
yeah,
to the
into a
main
main
character.
character. Yeah.
But her and Pedro together just have like the cutest relationship off screen, and I feel like that helps
And they
both of them
are
on
Joel and
screen.
Ellie
Oh,
because,
absolutely.
like, just especially, like, with the joke book, I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
that's Joel and Ellie. Like, that is absolutely, like, HBO absolutely nailed this show.
Yeah.
Um, and, like, if you haven't played through the games or anything like that, it's not, like,
Mm.
I feel like the show's not as scary
No.
as, like, the
There's
games.
the game I think is particularly scary because first of all you're running. You're literally running away from clickers and fighting clickers and you're like in the middle of everything. Whereas the show you're very much a spectator. Also, the
Mhm.
game for obvious reasons can go into more action detail than the show can, whereas the show's more story
Story
oriented.
base, yeah. But if you haven't watched it, you should definitely get on that before season
Yeah.
2 because it's so good. HBO just nails their shows. They're just so good. I swear.
Yeah, I feel like they've definitely learned from their Game of Thrones season last season.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know it doesn't exist, and Game of Thrones just ends at what season 4 or whatever it is, or 5.
Yeah.
But I feel like they definitely learned because that was a big hit to them, and they
Mhm.
realized
Especially
that,
because Game of Thrones was so good.
and
Like,
it was this
up until
huge
that
big
season, it
thing.
is such a good show.
Yeah, and for them, like, because I feel like HBO in general is very detail oriented. Like, you see everything in the little things, and the people
Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
background, and the way characters are dressed, and the colors they wear. And there's all these things for you to take in. And the second that one of them is amiss, you can see it. And it just
Mhm.
ruins the whole, like, immersion aspect of it. And I do like, again, HBO is learning, like a lot of studios are, if you involve the original people that brought this project to life, whether it be the authors, the writers, the creators, the actors, like whoever was in the original stuff, when you bring them in, it just elevates your project even more because you want it to be different. You obviously don't want it to be word for word the same, even though a lot of us
Mhm.
book nerds would love that, but you also don't want to diss your fans and be like, just because you paid attention and reread this book about 10,000 times doesn't mean we're going to put everything you want in it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
You
HBO
have to
is
have a good
learning,
balance between the two.
yes, yes, there has to be a balance and you
Which I think
have
they did really
to,
good with The Last of Us. They had, like, a really
yeah,
good balance of, like, this is the show and this is
yeah.
the game, but it's different. Like, one of my favorite and, like, saddest changes that they made was with Sam.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
that
Yes.
is so sad.
Yeah.
Because in the game, he's much older and he's not deaf. I feel like that just made it so much more sad.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
So
like,
much more sad.
why are you pulling on my heartstrings like this?
Yeah, and he's so, like, cuz I feel like in the game him and Ellie are closer in age than they are in the show.
Yeah,
And
because Sam's a lot younger in the show.
yeah, so like as an audience we're just like, "Oh my god, little sweet baby." But then Ellie kind of thinks of him that way too. Like she's assumed the role of older sister
Yeah.
immediately. She's like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna I'm gonna be there for this kid. And I mean, she signs to him and she writes stuff, and they have their little cute little chat and all of that.
It's so
um
sad.
it is so sad, but I feel like HBO definitely made a very conscious decision on what they were going to expand on, like Bill's love story and
Mhm.
Sam, and kind of the added details to kind of really pull people in to show it's different, but we very much know and understand why you love the source material. Because I
Yeah.
feel like if
Mhm.
you're making something and you're not a fan, or you don't understand what people like about this thing you're trying to create, you're going to miss the mark because your heart is
Yeah.
not with the audience.
Right. Yeah. And you definitely see that with a lot of, like, remakes of
Mm-hmm.
games to movies or games to
Yeah.
shows or whatever.
Yeah. Books to movies and stuff like that.
Hmm. But The Last of Us, amazing,
Oh
so
my
good.
gosh. So good. So good. What else should we talk
Yeah.
about? Pedro, there's so
Um.
many things.
Yeah. The Mandalorian, he's great in that, even though he shows
Oh
his
my
face like
gosh.
twice,
Once,
3 times,
twice?
maybe. I think it's twice.
It was funny. I remember when uh Wyatt and I were talking about this one time, and we were talking about the first time he ever removes his helmet when he's injured, and the robot guy's got to like take his helmet off to like heal him, and Wyatt is just like, the only reason they did that was because Pedro threw a hissy fit that nobody could see his face, and I was like, I'm okay with that because
Yeah.
I like his face. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's fine. And I get it. Like, playing a role that nobody ever sees you in, let alone like your character's face, that's got to be
Mhm.
hard, like as an actor. Because you want, especially nowadays in social media, you want people to associate your face with whatever
With
you're
that
working on.
character. Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, I imagine a lot of people like the anonymity of not being noticed in public, but like if you show up to a red carpet and they're taking pictures of, the some dude, and they're gonna be like, who are you? Like, what role do you play? And you're the main role and they don't know what you look like? That's just sad.
Yeah, you're like, I'm literally the main character, because the
Yeah.
other main character is not real. It is a puppet, okay?
He is a
So,
puppet.
excuse me, I'm the main character.
Yeah.
Grogu's literally a puppet, but he's
Who's
the
controlled
cutest
by like
puppet
four
ever.
people. Oh my
I know,
gosh.
he's so cute.
He's
I
so
love him.
cute. His big old brown eyes. Oh my
I know.
gosh. I want to like I just want to like pat his head. He just looks
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, I know. I just want to like pick him up and the little and Zellins, is that what they're called? The little guys?
Oh, yeah, I just call him all I
Baba?
know,
Babu?
yeah, Babu.
What's his name?
I call him
Babu.
all Babu Frick, even though they are not all Babu Frick, but you know what? That's what he is to me.
Yeah, I just
Those
want to
things are
like I want
so
the two of
cute.
them together. Like just whoosh
Absolutely.
them.
I love when they're in the workshop scene together
Oh my
and
god,
Grogu's
that
just like,
that
I'm gonna pick him up. And then Mando's like, no, no, don't pick him up. That's not a toy. No, can't eat him. I love that
uh,
Grogu is like a 50-year-old being
toddler.
and he's just a toddler. He's
I
just
love
out
when he
making
gets his
mischief.
when he gets in his little like droid suit and he just
No,
causes
no, no.
mayhem and he just starts like eating all the food out of the vendors places. I was like, yeah, that's what it's like being. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't have children, but like, I'm assuming,
Oh, it's
even
100%
though
what it's like having a
he,
child.
yeah, like that is like having a child. It's just that he's 50.
Yeah, and I do like when Mando's like, "Okay, it's time to come out of there," and he's like, "No, no,
No.
no, no," and he's like running away around the freaking table in the room, like, "No, no, no, no," and I'm like, "That's what you get for giving your child one a droid that they could run away in, but also
Yeah,
two yes and no buttons because you really think that the answer's not going to be no to everything."
yeah. He's like, I'm not. No, this is my suit now.
Yeah, I still think he needs a button that says "This is the way," because he just like
Yeah.
pressed "This is the way, this is the way."
Oh, I cannot wait for the movie. It's gonna be so good.
I know. And I really do like the way they ended the show that they're just like living on their own little plot of land,
Mm-hmm.
peaceful, together. I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute. I need to rewatch that show too. We should do episodes on The Mandalorian as well.
We
Especially,
should. Yeah.
we got to find out when the movie's coming out because I think that's this year, isn't it? Or is it next year?
I think they're filming it this year,
Okay, so we should do
so
that
we got
and
time.
lead up to the movie, and it gives us yet another excuse to rewatch.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so we've been talking for 42 minutes, which is normally about our cutoff for these episodes. Pedro is our favorite. He's amazing.
Yes.
I love that he's not like a, what's the word I'm looking for? He's not controversial. Like, he
No.
has his political opinions, which he expresses, and that's all fine and dandy, but he doesn't shove it in your face and he doesn't shove it down your throat. He's just like, these are my opinions. I think you should think this way too, and then leaves it at that. Um, I also love that he has a lot of pride for his home country of Chile. Um, and he keeps up with all his family and stuff there. I love that we are getting more involvement with his sisters, both his older sister Javiera and his younger sister Lux. I love that he takes them to premieres of stuff and award shows, and they just like get to hang out, and they're just all adorable.
He's a great man. 10 out of
He
10.
is a great man. 10 out of 10. 50 out of 10. Do you
Yeah.
have anything to add before we start wrapping it up? Besides the
No,
fact that
I
we love
think
him.
that yeah, we love him. We are Pedro fans in this house. Also, if you're a
Absolutely.
Pedro fan and you want to show it, Jamie has some great merchandise
I do.
um
On my
on her
Etsy
Etsy.
store.
Yeah, she sells very very like Pedro tonin.
Yep, you can get, yep, because I literally, it was a hashtag one of my friends on Tumblr used, and they were like serotonin, more like pedrotonin, and I was like, I need that as a sticker and a
Like I need that
T-shirt.
on everything. Yeah.
Yes. So if Pedro brings you some pedrotonin, I do have a very comfy T-shirt that you can order. I hand make all my stuff, so that's why prices are the way they are. But super comfy. They wash really well. I'm wearing my Pedro shirt today. Mine glows in the dark. Did I make your? I made yours glow in the dark
Yeah,
too,
you
didn't I?
mean yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I also have a iconic yellow t-shirt of Pedro giving you two rock on signs, and it says shots, which if you haven't
Shots.
watched if you haven't watched the community table read that he was a part of, watch that, because he actually stands in for another actor that couldn't make it, and he's absolutely hilarious. A lot of memes have come from that table read, so check
Mhm.
that out.
Hey, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking?
The group is silent.
Shots!
And then I have a lot of stickers that you can put on your car or wherever you feel like putting stickers on. And I'm hoping, God willing, to come out with some more stuff. And then Casey and I are going to be working on some merch for the
Yeah.
podcast. So
So keep an eye out for that.
keep an eye out. My Etsy store is the Pineapple Outpost. I'll make sure to link stuff somewhere. If you follow me on Instagram, it's linked on there too. But keep your eyes peeled for announcements, which reminds me, make sure to follow us here on Spotify. We post every Tuesday at 7 a.m. And follow us on ye old TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, and if you like us and you think we're funny and you think that we are the most hilarious people on earth, which you should
Which we
anyways,
are.
because yeah, we are. Give us 5 stars. If only if you
Yes.
think we're funny. But you should think we're funny because we are.
Yeah.
And we'll
If you
put
don't think we're
more,
funny, I don't know why you're here. So,
yeah, if you don't think we're funny, you're wrong, first of
yeah,
all.
wrong.
And second of all,
Get out.
get out of here.
Or go get a new sense of humor.
Yeah,
Because
leave
you
this
done broke.
town. Yeah, that helps us out too. It like I think it like pushes our podcast out. So if you like us, tell us
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah, show your appreciation by rating us. Also, feel free to share on your socials or to text people, hey, listen to this podcast, because that definitely helps us. Post us in your Discord chats so that all your Discord friends can see us.
Mhm, mhm.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all we got for this
I think
episode.
that wraps it up. Yeah.
But yeah, so we will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.
This is the why.